It's March already. It is, you're right. And in this episode of Pleasure Beach Experience Monthly, I've got Becca with me.
Hey.
And we're talking about, does Blackpool Pleasure Beach open too early in the season? We're going to have a random theme park discussion.
Yep.
Just about completely off the grid, it's unscripted. And I'm going to be talking about our biggest ever event that is currently in the works. To another episode of Pleasure Beach Experience Monthly. We're managing to keep it going.
Yeah, we are.
You said that we needed to do it every month to keep up with its name, and we've managed it since September. So the reason I've got Becca with me this time is because me, Mark and Mike did film this episode, but we had some issues along the way. So unfortunately we're doing it again, but it gives Becca a chance to have your say on a subject that you've wanted to talk about on camera. So I won't let you wait any further. I'll ask you the question and then I'll go and get a brew and stuff and let you get on with it because I know that you really want to talk about this. Does Blackpool Pleasure Beach open too early in the year for their season?
Yes. They need to give themselves a bit more time. There's talk about doing stuff mid-close season this year.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely bonkers.
There's talk about being open on New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
Because next year is Pleasure Beach's 125th season, or anniversary season. And there's talk of seeing in that season on New Year's Eve with a big fireworks display and packages at the Boulevard and Big Blue Hotel. Yeah. There's talk of Icon being open. There's talk of other rides being open. I'm going to put it out there now. Big One will not be open.
No.
Weather
they need time to...
And I think there might be some more retracking. Yeah. I'm not 100% on that, but...
Well, you'd imagine so. They've done some, so I think it's a start of a good bit of replacement on there.
And it would be so amazing if Pleasure Beach get the money to do the whole thing. I know it's going to be...
that would be really nice.
I'd take that over another ride. So I'll put this out there, and this is to everyone watching as well as Becca. Would you take the Big One being shut for, say, 6, 7, 8 months for the whole thing to be retracked from, say, the first drop all the way to the end? Obviously, you don't need to touch the lift hill. No. You don't need to touch, say, the brake run, unless they change the brakes. But if, say, they did all that from first drop right through to the end, would you firstly say keep the layout as it is, and would you be happy for it to be shut? Say, like they're doing with Valhalla, reimagined, for not a whole season.
I'd take a whole season if they were going to do that.
Yeah.
I'd say for layout, kind of the path it takes, yes, keep it the same.
Yeah.
But kind of modify it slightly so it's got less chance of rolling back.
Airtime hills lower.
Yeah.
And just so that it flies over them a bit more.
Yeah.
And I don't mean recreate Magnum as it was, because that is what they were trying in the first place, but just a bit more like that in the sense low hills and then just absolutely fly over but keep the same path.
Yeah.
And then you eliminate any chance of a rollback, especially if so much of it's protected. Mm-hmm. But obviously we're playing Planet Coaster in our heads here. It's very unlikely, but I would definitely take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to go back to the original point, I think it's a tough one because they've been opening since February, since 2005. Because I remember 2004 was the last time they opened in March. Because I remember going on opening day. That was the first ever day I did the big one. 7th of March 2004. Still remember it. But yeah, 2005 they opened in February. And every year since they've opened in February. And it's a tough one because one way of looking at it is, yes, it's a good opportunity to run in the rides before the main season. But that was the case in, say, those early years of the WOW weekends when they were a tenner. But as time's gone on, the WOW weekends have got more expensive and the ride offerings got less. Yeah. And I don't think that's through anyone's fault. I just think the weather is so unpredictable, like you say. Yeah. And I think when it was a tenner, nobody cared if they didn't get on anything.
No.
It was just like, it's a tenner. Yeah. And back then trains were cheap as well. Yeah, it's like, for example, you could get from Edinburgh to Blackpool for probably like a £5.
Yeah.
And I could get from Crewe to Blackpool for a £5. And you used to get there and go, well, the whole day for food, the wristband, and transports cost me like 20, 30 quid at most. And you go, oh, well, whatever. And then as season pass holders, even better with the transport that cheap. But for people who only go, say, once or twice, they used to go on them early days and go, well, do you know what? It was a tenner. We've had a family day out. It doesn't really matter. We've been to Blackpool. We've been out for the day. We got out of the house. we'll go back later in the year. But now it's 20 quid ish, and you just see people get frustrated with one train, ops, and things that are just closed, and I can just see why people get frustrated.
At this time of year, transport to Blackpool can be an absolute nightmare.
Yes, agreed.
Getting the train to Blackpool can be horrible at this time.
Yeah.
As early season, late season, I used to miss out because I couldn't get there.
Yeah.
If you didn't drive, you were a bit stuffed. And if you do drive, you've then got to find a bloody parking space, which can be just as...
Well, back in the day, it used to be the only way you were getting there was I'd get you from Preston. And it'd be... So then I'd leave crew early to go to Preston to get you, and then we'd go, and that's the only way that we could go together. Yeah. But you would never see ride close. No. Because on a Sunday it'd be like, right, we need to leave at 4 o'clock to get to Preston. Yeah, because the last train's
going, so...
And it's no better now.
No.
It's no better.
I think it's worse now, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've obviously not had to take the train to Blackpool for a good while now, but I have seen a lot of comments, I've seen a lot of travel updates.
It's
There's
not
a lot
good,
of flooding,
is it?
Especially on the South Line.
Yeah.
They do work at this time of year because it's out of Blackpool season.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Perfectly normal.
Yeah. So, I think it's one for the viewers to put in the comments section below. Let us know what you think. Does Pleasure Beach open too early? I am seriously conflicted on this subject. I remember us talking about this a month ago before opening day, and I said exactly the same off camera, didn't I? I can see why they do it, but I also think that it is unfair on the people who have to get everything ready for opening day. It's just so much pressure.
Yeah.
And I've said this so many times on camera before. I've said it off camera to the people personally, and I'm going to say it again. The engineering team at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, they are the heroes of Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and I'm not arse kissing. It's the truth. They graft so much over winter in shit weather to get everything
really
ready for us. And it must be frustrating for those guys as well, knowing that, like with the big one, like we've said, they worked so hard to get it ready. They tested it. They got that window of opportunity where they could retrack it, test it, and then it was windy for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They managed to test it the 2 days before the season. How Pleasure Beach opened big one on opening day is still beyond me with those winds. It was ridiculous.
It was horrible.
But every day since, and I know I've seen a lot of comments about, oh, a big one shouldn't be shut because the wind's not been as bad as opening day, but it is directional.
Yeah.
Because on opening day it was a south wind, which gives them much higher percentages that they can work with say, a westerly wind where, as we've seen on the Pleasure Beach documentary, there's a wind directly from the west. It ain't going to open unless they somehow pull it out of the bag. But hopefully from here on in now, middle of March almost, I really hope that they manage to just to get it open a little bit.
Yeah.
But like we say, when the weather's against you, what can you do? And that's why we're saying, is it too early to open? So yeah, we've not had you in any of the Pleasure Beach future videos.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you change?
Oh,
actually, I'm going to rephrase that. That's a dangerous question with you. What do you want to see them build? I'll say that. Do you see any of the current rides going?
Maybe not going. I'd like to see River Caves properly overhauled.
Yeah.
Because over its history, it has been done every so often, and I think at what point do you say, oh well, it's old now, we've got to keep that? Like people start, but no, it's not original. They've changed it multiple times. The outside of it, for a start, looks completely different than it was when it was built. So I think it's about time that they brought it up to, modern, maybe not modern times, but just, dragged it a little bit towards where we're at.
Just somewhere in the middle, not Wallace and Gromit, which has gone from gold mine to modern. No, just somewhere in the middle.
Just redesign the scenes as with modern technology.
Yeah, so keep the scenes.
All the scenes the same, just modernise them.
Yeah.
There's so much better technology now that they could put into something like that.
Some different kind of animatronics and maybe get Glenn to redo the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But as a similar style as it is, but
lighting is a lot better these days than it was.
Do you know what I'd love to see in the River Caves? I'd love to see the old scene where you used to go through a magnolia calf sorted out, because you can tell that it was done as a quick fix when Wallace and Gromit was done. It just needs to...
That is such a waste.
It's such a that scene was beautiful when it was original, not original, but how it was with the gold mine. It just worked so nicely.
See, and now they could do something with projections or screens, or well, not screens, as in something with little monitors and whatever. But you know, a big wraparound screen for that area.
I know you don't like it, but like in that scene in Symbolica where you kind of go down the straight bit and there's like you feel like you're in a water tunnel and the screens are cracking and you feel like you're going to get wet all of a sudden. Something like that.
I think one that a lot more people would know is the Haunted Mansion in Disney, where you go along, you see yourself.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, it's actually interacting with you because they've got the ghost sitting in with you and things like that. Maybe not something quite so elaborate, but just something that follows you in the boat. Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah, just something that's like, it could be one of the dinosaurs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sort of befriended a dinosaur that follows you or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the River Caves needs bringing into modern terms. Yeah. Just keep it as it is in terms of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
then you get the best of both worlds. You keep the history, but show it in a better manner.
Yeah, just give it some new scenes, but the same scenes, just new technology, new boats, because it is like sitting on a garden bench.
Yeah, that lift hill is horrendous. Yeah. Just because you've got nothing to lean against.
Our son loves Pleasure Beach Express.
Yeah.
I love that ride. I don't know what you do. But that just needs some love. I mean, there's some scenes in there, it's just, you can tell that they were exactly how they were 20 years ago, but it's just that the weather has got the better of them.
I'd like to see them turn it around again.
Yeah, I would.
Just keep people guessing, just turn it around.
I liked it when it went the other way around. It was great, especially when you met the big one head on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly, the signs. When you come out of the safari scene on the Pleasure Beach Express, turn around and you'll see on safari on one of the rock work from when it used to go the other way.
Yeah.
My throat is not happy.
No.
No.
Anyway, the other thing I'd like to see them get is like a water coaster. I know I keep saying this, but
get Uncle Mac involved and sort it out.
Right, we've got Valhalla, but that is not all about being a water ride. That is very much a story.
Yes.
You know, very heavily themed. They could just plonk a nice Mack water coaster in there and it would be great in the summer.
Yes.
Who wants to be sat in the dark in Valhalla in summer?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if you put, I think I've said this, I don't know if I've said it on camera or if I've said it online, if you put Valhalla in Alton Towers, it's the perfect ride for Alton Towers. It's got a story, it's got a theme, you could do a whole area around it. At Pleasure Beach, it was a great idea.
Yeah.
But I think it'd have been better outside.
Yeah.
But I just think, because it's Blackpool as well, I know we've had a lot of different comments on the Valhalla discussion that we had a couple of months ago where people said, yeah, it's the point of Valhalla, you're supposed to get wet. Whereas we're going, not that wet in Blackpool. I just think there's got to be a balance, and I hope that one of the things they do with Valhalla is tone the water down somehow.
Yeah.
Intamin have that technology.
Mm-hmm.
They do it on Chappers at Fantasialand.
Yeah.
They can monitor the water levels. But do we see Intamin being involved with Valhalla, or are they going to get Mack involved?
Who knows?
Turn it into a water coaster and then you're happy. You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but I'd rather it was outside for in the summer.
Yeah,
you
true.
lose something by having water rides indoors. Unless they're going to bring it...
Well, bring it out of the facade kind of thing.
Yeah, you know where you've got that silly backwards drop. Just bring it out.
Yeah.
Somehow bring it back in. It'll work. That can do it.
Becca's coaster designing right there. But no.
We'll load up Roller Coaster Tycoon later and I'll have a look.
Let's do it, yeah. Especially as it's on the first ever one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can redesign it that way. Although it is a log flume on that.
It works.
It works. Classic game in there. But yeah, one of the things that I've heard about Valhalla since we did the Valhalla discussion is the backwards drop is going to be taken out. How they will do that, I have no idea.
Yeah, you just make the turntable go around a bit more.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I think getting rid of the turntables would be nice because...
They do cause issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. I am actually looking forward to going on it next year. It'd just be nice to see what they've changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will bring a bit of excitement to Pleasure Beach. People who perhaps haven't visited since Icon opened or perhaps won't visit this year because Valhalla is closed will go next year. I hope they make a big thing of it.
Yes, they need to be shouting about it.
Yeah, I hope it's...
It's a big job to take on, so...
Yeah, I mean, there's not been very much said about the big one retrack, if anything, from the Pleasure Beach, so...
No, I've seen it covered by 300 million other sources, but... Yes. Number one.
Yeah. Yeah, we were there, well, me and Charlie were there.
Yeah.
For a lot of that, and I loved watching that. I just hope if they do any more, it's in visible areas I can see as well. But yeah, that's a watch this space. But I think they need to shout about it. Yeah. They shouted about it when they said it. I'm glad they didn't just close it.
Yeah.
And just SBNO it for the year and say, it's shut, deal with it. They've at least done something with that. Mm-hmm. And I hope, say, get to September time, I really want to see a big campaign going. This is what we're doing. We're going to do a marketing video every month to show you what we're doing, where we're up to. This is when it's going to be. I just want to see them go full on and get everyone excited about it, because there's not much happening next year from what we know at this point.
Yeah.
We don't know that if Towers were going to do something, we'd know about it.
Yep.
If Thorpe are going to do anything next year, if it's going to be big, we'll know about it soon, because they'll be advertising it soon. Merlin do that. And it's the same for all the Merlin parks. Poulton's Park have done what they're doing this year, so they're not going to do anything again next year. And I don't see them as a big competitor to Pleasure Beach anyway. They're in a different end of the country. Yeah. Poulton's are a big competitor in the south, whereas for Pleasure Beach should be the main park. And that's what I'm saying with Valhalla. It should be full on. But whether it will be or not. What else would you do?
Oh.
Catering.
Oh, that'd be scrapped and started again.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I wouldn't know where to start, because it's all pretty bad.
Theme park catering in general is not your favourite thing, is it?
No, but there's a lot of places that do it a lot better.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, I can tolerate eating at Towers. Thorpe's actually quite good.
I like Thorpe's catering.
I think Thorpe gets it quite right.
Yeah, agreed.
Pleasure Beach, on the other hand, you won't catch me eating in there anymore.
No, it's getting that way for me, unfortunately. I just think that with the pricing and the quality of it, I just think, I hate to say it because we support Pleasure Beach more than anywhere else, but it is just so easy to just go, Velvet Coaster. Yeah. It takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, it really does.
It takes 5 minutes to walk there.
Sometimes it's quicker.
That's the problem.
Like going to the fountain. I know the burger place isn't there now. It's now Topped Fries.
Gourmet fries.
That's the one. It's taken us half an hour plus to get food from there in the past.
Yeah, and the queue's been me, you and Mike.
Yeah.
That's
not queuing, that's from ordering to
that's the
getting
issue.
Food. So, it doesn't take that long in Wetherspoons, it doesn't.
No, when it's 11 o'clock till 5 o'clock close, you don't have time to wait 40 minutes to have food. You just want fast food, get it sorted, and then get back on the rides. And that is one of the big issues, I think, is speed of service and the quality of it. And I think that's why you never see us in vlogs eating at Pleasure Beach, because we rarely do now, but hopefully it'll get better over time. But I think we can pretty much wrap it up there, our theme park discussion that was completely off the grid and not really thought about until now. Other than obviously what we discussed with Pleasure Beach opening too early. You're saying it definitely opens too early.
Yes.
I'm very much sat on the fence. Want to get off that fence now and start talking about something else. So I'm going to talk about our biggest ever club event, which is very much in the planning stages. At first, it was, we'll see what the interest is like. We put it on socials, didn't we? And wow, the interest is massive. Turns out Becca's still here, but with a brew. Because you want to talk about this event as well.
Yep.
But despite my throat dying, I will make an attempt at going through the whole itinerary. So America 2021 will be happening in June. It will start by meeting up at Chicago O'Hare Airport, and then that's where the group transportation begins. We'll go to our first hotel, which is all arranged, which is good stuff. And then the first park on the following day is Six Flags Great America. That's a hard one because there's a lot of Six Flags Great such and such parks. So it's Six Flags Great America. It's got an RMC, so lots of people will be happy with that. There's a couple of Woodies. Got a Batman, of course, the original Batman invert, so that'll be good to do.
That sounds painful to me.
It's a B&M, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And then we've got Six Flags St. Louis. Gotta be honest, I don't know a lot about that park, so it'll be an interesting one to do. And then moving on from there, we've got Holiday World, which has got the famous Voyage wooden roller coaster, which looks insane. And then there's Kentucky Kingdom, which have been absolutely amazing. They've just been so good to deal with. They're just so friendly, and I can't wait to go there. Looks like the airtime park. That's what so many people have said. Then it's up to Kings Island, 2 days at Cedar Point, and back to Chicago. And when you put it all together that quickly, it sounds like a really quick trip. But it's going to take place over, I think it's 8 days. Group transportation will be included in the cost of the event. Hotels will be included. Park entrance will be included. ERTs and stuff like that will all be included. But the one thing that won't be included, because we've got members from everywhere, is flights. Because we've got people from England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Czech Republic, Holland, people coming from everywhere. I'm going to let you take over because we've had, 200?
So, for anyone that doesn't already know, if you are interested in going on this trip, get to our website and look at our events section where you can register your interest for this event. We've got a few questions for you just so we know what everyone's expecting. We can try and meet those expectations. Also just a few other questions that help us in the planning stages.
Yeah.
But so far on responses to that, we've had nearly 200 people say that they would probably go, and these aren't all the responses. These are only responses that we've had a reasonable budget given to us. We have had quite a lot of people put in expectations of budgets of £200-300. Not sure if those people were aware of what exactly was included, but we did omit those ones just to get a real idea of who is likely to come. And so far that's nearly at 200, and it's going to be a very limited event.
There's going to be 53 places to book. We're going to be travelling by coach, which has been sorted by Mark. He's done all the groundwork on that one. The price on that is still to be confirmed because we've got to put the hotels in, and we've got 2 hotels which are on board. We've got a couple more that are working on prices because we're trying to make the pricing as reasonable as possible, but at the same time we don't want to be checking into hotels that are an absolute dive. What we want is nice, good quality hotels like Travelodge, Big Blue, that kind of level of hotel, but not that's like £300 a night. So we're trying to meet a balance where it's not a dive, but it's not the Ritz, basically. It's somewhere in the middle that in some situations we're going to be leaving the park and say travelling 3 or 4 hours on the road, so we don't really want to get there when we're going to be there at 10 o'clock at night and checking out at say 7 in the morning, and it being like the Big Blue where you think this is a beautiful hotel but I'm literally coming in, going to sleep and leaving. Whereas the ones where we know we're going to be there a bit longer are the ones where we've looked for the better hotels. But all in all, the hotels that we've picked and we're communicating with are all very nice hotels. So they'll all have breakfast included as well, which I think is absolutely vital. But what we're looking at on the transport kind of thing is not doing loads of morning travel. So what we're aiming to do is make sure that when we wake up, we're near the park we're going to, with probably the exception of Six Flags St. Louis, because that is 5 hours from the other Six Flags park. So it's like we had to find somewhere in the middle with that one, especially with this being, I'd imagine it'll be a lot of people's first time over to America, and it is quite overwhelming the first time you go there and you go, right, I'm going to travel this far, this far, this far and this far to between parks. So we've tried to keep everything as condensed as possible. Like, as an example, Dollywood was a park that we looked at until we realised it was 5 hours from one park and 9 hours to the next one. We just went, it's too much. As much as we would love to have that on the itinerary, it's just too far. So we've tried to keep everything in a bit of a loop, but there is a fair bit of travelling involved, and that is where the bulk of the cost will come from on this trip. It'll be the group transportation.
They will be comfortable enough that you'll be able to sleep for these longer drives.
Yeah, definitely.
So don't worry about, being on the number 22 somewhere.
Yeah,
it's a proper.
You're not on the like number 32A to Alton Towers from Stoke-on-Trent bus station.
Yeah.
It will be like being on a plane. There will be your own telly. You'll have USB ports. You'll have climate control, a toilet, reclining seats, which I actually hate, and I just think it'll be good quality transport.
Yeah.
We're also going to do a couple of quizzes and stuff on the coaches to keep everyone entertained. One of them will be a Mike sleep stake, where we all predict at what point in the journey Mike falls asleep. Usually about 5-10 minutes after we've been at a park, that Mike will nod off and chill out after a long day at the park. So we'll do that, and Mike will provide some prizes. He doesn't know it yet, but when he watches this video he will do.
We'll soon find out if he's watching.
At this point I'll find out. I'll probably get a message off him going, get stuffed, or something along those lines, but might be Foxtrot Oscar. But yeah, it's going to be our biggest ever club event, something that we've worked night and day on, really, and we've even had planning meetings in the Velvet Coaster in Blackpool.
Yep.
We've had planning meetings here. We've had endless evenings of discussion on Facebook where we're going, right, we need to do this, we need to contact this place, we need to do that. But yeah, so watch this space. It is definitely going to happen. There's no doubt about it. The interest is there, like Becca says, with over 200 form submissions.
We could do it 4 times over this event, really.
And that's before we've put it out there like we're doing now. It's going to be massive, and we are going to be limited on spaces. And what we will look at, if we book out, say, the 53 places immediately, we'll look at some options for people with a smaller coach, maybe a reserve list and stuff like that. But the plan is to announce all the details in late June, early July, and then the event to be on sale first week of September this year. There won't be a requirement to pay the bulk of the event up front. To book on the event, you will probably have to pay the group transportation cost. That'll be like the deposit, and then the hotels and the parks will just be paid leading up to the event, with say like a month, leading up until the month before we actually go. In terms of flights, I wouldn't book flights until you know you're definitely on the trip.
Yeah.
I will definitely help with advising in terms of what flights to take, which airlines to go with and stuff like that. But Pleasure Beach Experience as a group does not really want the responsibility of booking, say, 56 flights, because for you guys, if you book on to a flight with us, and let's say we book with someone like TUI or Virgin or British Airways, God forbid something like what happens with Thomas Cook happens, you guys aren't ATOL protected.
Yeah.
We've got a massive insurance issue, and it's a massive headache for you and for us, and it's not fair on everyone. The best way to do it is everyone books their own flights at their own convenience, with airlines they want, at times they want, and basically if you want to book legroom seats or first class or stuff like that, you can do that because you've booked it. Whereas if we do it, we'll all be sat in the middle of the plane in the boring seats, we'll be in the middle of the rows. Me, Mark and Mike will probably die a heart attack before the trip in case the airline goes under. And it's not worth the stress for everyone. I think it's best if everyone does their own flights, and we will give like a group transportation time from the airport. We say 10 o'clock at this time on this day, try and get there for this time, and that'll all come with when the event goes on sale, so it's not something to worry about at this point. It's a work in progress. It is going to happen. If you're thinking, I want to do it, but I don't know the Pleasure Beach Experience group, we do have events this year.
Yep, get yourself booked on to the Pleasure Beach event. I was going to say meet up then, it's a bit more than that.
Yeah, back to Blackpool.
Yeah, get booked onto there. Again, that's on the website.
Yeah, but yeah, for now that's it. With the main one is Blackpool Pleasure Beach, back to Blackpool, taking place on the 30th and 31st of May.
It'll be a great time to socialise as well. We've got a whole end of day party there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll be a great time to meet people, have a chat, and just generally get to know everyone.
Yeah, and as an example really, sort of go back a couple of years ago, Mark, who is now in pretty much every video, we didn't know Mark a couple of years ago, but Mark came to an event on his own, met up with me and Mike at Tato Park, didn't really know anyone, but ended up making really good friends with Chris and Gemma, got to know me and Mike more over the time, and now Mark comes on every trip, and same with Chris and Gemma. So a lot of people have commented in the past, how do I get involved with Pleasure Beach Experience? best thing I can say is book onto an event, get to know everyone, and before you know it, you'll be coming on lots of trips and lots of events, and you'll have a whole new circle of friends, and it's great, really. It's the best way to do it, and it's what coaster clubs were designed for in the first place, and we've got Andy Hine to thank for that, really, who started the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain back in the 80s, and it's because of him that things like this can be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for now. But what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the America sign-up form, which is not to book on, but to register your interest. Already 200 submissions, as Becca says. Would say don't put your budget at less than $1,000 for the whole trip. Keep it from that upwards, but don't worry, it's not going to be like 5, 6, 7 grand. It's not even going to be more than 2 grand, I don't think. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's definitely not going to be less than $1 grand, but it isn't going to be ridiculous. It's not going to be house deposit money, because if it is, I'm not going.
Yeah,
Becca said. But yeah, and it's just not going to... What we've said all along is we would not put a trip on that we wouldn't book on. So that's the thing. So there's a registration form linked below, and also the details for the Blackpool, Back to Blackpool event are linked below as well. That one is a limited availability. At this point, the Sunday is over 60% booked up now, so definitely book onto that one if you're a fan of the big one and you think, you know what, quite fancy that, because probably by the time we come around to film the next PB monthly, that will be sold out.
Yeah, I imagine so. It's been going quite quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.